Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League with my son playing piano in the background. And we have a pretty awesome Greed Pal rocking here. I'm very stoked to share this with you. So this is the kind of next iteration in Beans with Rakshas's Bargain, this new card that really pushes you into black, but at the same time there's a lot of pressure to be in white as well. So, ¿por qué no los dos? All right, why not both? Let's go ahead and take a look at this, how this deck functions. So essentially, we put powerful stuff on the stack, like Murktide, that triggers Beans, and we draw a bunch of cards. Rakshas's Bargain, even though it really costs 3 mana to cast, it is a 6 mana value spell, so that also triggers Beans. Force triggers Beans. Leyline Binding, even though you're often paying as low as 2 mana for this with this deck. We don't have any mountains in the deck, so 2 is the lowest it goes. But this also triggers Beans. And then we've just got really powerful effects. Witherbloom command. Kill opposing Bowmaster, return a land to our hand, or remove a Chalice of the Void, or remove a Carpet of Flowers, or a key if we're up against like a monolith deck. Lots of options with this. And then of course we can also drain life if we need to gain life. Speaking of life gain, this is an Uro deck, and Uro is a very powerful thing against tempo decks. What I experienced during my Bug Beans experimentation phase, which I think there are like 2 or 3 videos up about that, is that you do want some life gain because tempo can eat you alive, and tempo ain't eating this deck alive because we've got 4 Plows, we've got the Leyline Bindings, and then Uro to kind of creep back into the game later. Endurance is also extremely good against Delver, not as good against blue-black tempo. And then against combo, we're in black, why not also throw in a couple of Thought Seizes. We've got a singleton Tamio that can come out early and start generating value. We never have to worry about drawing redundant Tamios because there's only one. And then we've got the best cantrips, and the mana base is 21 lands, including 3 Wastelands, which are essentially spells here. We're not playing any basics. Every single, we have 9 fetches and 9 duels, including this Hedge Maze. That's our utility land. And then in the sideboard, what we do, okay, what do you do if you go up against Moonstomp? You dump your entire sideboard in there. We've got 4 Force Negations, 3 Force of Vigors, 2 Hydroblasts. And then we've got the Carpet of Flowers for tempo matchups. We've got Lavinia for unfair matchups, and Ground Seals for graveyard-centric matchups. Notably, these not only cantrip, but they also protect our Uro from surgical extraction, and they can also just occasionally mess up. Like this comes in against lands, for example, because it makes it impossible for them to loam. So this is the next iteration, and we're going to see if we get completely destroyed by a bunch of Moonstompy decks. But I think if we're just going up against Wasteland decks, the fact that we're not playing a basic island will probably be okay. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against a likely play monthly at Rockets. Okay, so our opponent is Loggy SD. SD does indeed stand for San Diego, which is one of the most beautiful cities in the United States, home to most people in the Navy that I've ever met live there. Yeah, it's they have a venue called Rockets. Okay, so we're gonna keep this. This is not a spectacular hand against a likely Painter player, but it does have mana and it's got a Tamio, so it's going somewhere. Yeah, 5-lander. I'm going to try it. If our deck fails, it fails most likely due to mana. Windswept Heath is the least aggressive opening fetch land you can play, basically. Okay, and here we go. We're going to be able to get mini domain. We don't get full domain with this deck, but we're going to be able to get mini domain and get our binding out. So I think what I'll probably do is surveil here. Oh, I could have freaking played out the Tamio. Yeah, I might have a Brainstorm to protect her later. Uh-oh, Prismatic Vista means they could be on some sort of, permanent, like back to basics type card. I'm going to grab a Hedge Base here. Yeah, that is going to stay on top of our deck. Just as an insurance policy. I mean, they almost certainly have white. I'm tempted to not play this Force out and just chill, or play the Tamio out if it's just going to eat a Plow. I think we don't have any more ETB tap lands to fetch. There's no benefit. I think I'm just going to hold up Force and see what they do. I know that may seem cowardly because we have mana and everything, but like I'll be really disappointed if they like Green Sun or drop like yeah, we'll see what they're going to do here. I'm also not going to be able to Leyline Bind this turn. Okay, yeah, basics. So they're on Jeskai, probably? Okay, Felia. This is a perfect thing to plow here. So I'm going to let it resolve. They are... Oh, yeah, I should have had to stop in my end step. I'm just going to let them attack. Okay, this trigger resolves, and then I'll plow after the trigger. I just want to make sure that if they have any interaction, that I can deal with it. So I think we bring in just Tundra. But Felia is going to be a pain in our Leyline Binding deck because it can bounce Leyline out of play and get triggers. Okay, Glassbowl Mimic. This is kind of a bad land, but it can come in as a creature. I can't remember what creature. It's not a very good creature. Okay, and this is what I'm very excited about. So we have options. One, we can just float the Tomio out there. We get Underground Sea, and then we have Leyline Binding up. And we also have... Yeah, I'm going to do this, and then we'll see what they do. If they plow or otherwise attack our dear princess, we will brainstorm. They are not representing black yet. I think they're just on 2-color. I think they're on 2-color Vial. Recruiter. I don't mind that body. We could deal with the Yorion. I don't think this is a force. It's worth noting that I did originally have a Terminus in the sideboard, and I opted not to keep it in. Like, I have been facing a lot of Eldrazi lately, which is surprisingly brutal. Like, I would have thought we took them down quite a bit when we took out the Sowing Micah Spawn. And I say we because, like, the entire community came together and complained about that ridiculous card, and Wizards did get rid of it. Skyclave, okay. So it's worth noting that, yeah, I don't want to brainstorm. I want to attack, get a clue, and then I think I'm going to just wait and see what they do. If I can force the actual Yorion, that's the card I'm kind of worried about. But I'm not getting any Bowmaster vibes. They're going to come in for 1. This is going to be one of those matches. Like, I intentionally took Loam out of my deck and, like, changed my deck so that it wouldn't be so grindy because I was using a lot of time. Okay, Spellseeker. So they're on the freaking that deck. Options. This goes and gets Ephemerate, which is an ordeal. I do need to force this. I'm going to undo, and I'm going to go ahead and draw first. So they did see that we have this card. Okay, I'm going to force Pitching Ponder instead because I still want to be able to brainstorm to flip Tomio later. Okay, we stopped it. Yeah, you have to stop that card, in my humble opinion. I'm not going to go for the brainstorm flip yet. I'm just going to see what I draw. Okay, Beanstalk. This is great. Let's go ahead and do this. I'll do it with green mana. Okay, draw trigger. Wasteland. Wasteland does have a target, and I think I'm going to go for it. Just to keep them a little farther away from Yorion here. Do I want to flip this? Not really, considering that they have that card. So I'm just going to chill and be patient. End step we can crack after we've gotten through the potential Skyclave apparition. Coming for another hug. And if you're wondering what my son is playing on piano, if you can hear that, he just plays like, he comes up with his own songs. He does do traditional like stuff, but almost everything you're going to hear him play is just like original compositions. So I'm going to wait and see what they target here, and then I'm going to brainstorm. Okay, when this creature enters, exile up to 1 target. Okay, so I should go ahead and bind here just to get the trigger. And I'll just bind the... I guess I get a second black source. White is the big thing. I think I get a Savannah here. No, I'll get a Trop. Now we're going to go white, colorless, bind, draw trigger. Unfortunately, this does mean that we don't get the creature. Yeah, we don't get the creature. I think the trigger still happens. I didn't want them to get another recruiter trigger. But we still lose the Beanstalk. We just don't get the creature for it. It still gets exiled. Yeah, I think in retrospect, it's more dangerous for me to give them that because of Felia than it is for me to give them... Yeah, we drew Bargain, by the way, which is insane with Beanstalk out. Unfortunately, Beanstalk's not going to be out. Yeah, I just punted there, though. We should have targeted the recruiter. Then being able to remove my permanents willy-nilly is more problematic than being able to search for a creature. All right, now the Skyclave hits... Okay, and unfortunately, yeah, because of the sequence, I still think it was worth it for the card. I don't care about the 2/2 body. I'm not going to be aggroing them. This will be interesting to see whether I can go over the top of their deck. Their deck is very powerful. Are they going to Solitude here, that would make sense. I hope they Solitude. All right, Wasteland already showing up is a very good card. I suspect based on that pause, they do have Solitude in their deck. We could get back a fetch here. I think it's fine. I'm going to go black, green. I'm going to mill myself, and I'm going to kill their creature. I don't think I get the Wasteland back. They probably do have other wastable lands, but they can just fetch basics. I bet you they have more basics in their deck. So we're removing material from the table, which is nice. I'll just get back another fetch, and we'll just keep building out our fetch land profile. I'll create a clue. There is no reason that I need to Rakshasa now. I can do it later. I think I'm just going to chill, since we've already made our land drop. And this way, if they do decide to Solitude or do anything, we do have the Plow. I'm sorry, the Brainstorm. If we suspect they have Spell Pierce or something like that up, I think I could Rakshasa here. Let's grab another black source, I guess. We got, well, actually, I think I'm going to get a white source. No, wait, I need a black source to cast this. Okay, so we're going to go black, blue, green. Fill up our yard. I'd love to dump an Uro in the yard here. That's the card I'd love to put in the yard the most. So we can just immediately bring it back next turn. Endurance is fine. I think we take a fetch. We do have Brainstorm, and I will be brainstorming next turn to get rid of some of these excess lands. They may get a Solitude. They may just have Solitude and just be waiting for us to brainstorm so they can use it. They are mana screwed, though. So maybe there was merit to me taking the Wasteland there, but I'm going to shuffle away these two lands when I fetch, and I'll fetch next turn after I brainstorm. It could be time to start Endurance and then go in. I don't think they have anything that uses their graveyard. They may have like a Snapcaster or something in their deck, but they're going to have redundant copies of all this stuff in their deck anyway, so I don't think it hurts to put Spellseeker back in there. So the way their deck works is they have like 4 Spellseekers, and those get Ephemerates, and then they Ephemerate, and they can, like, I guess they're not playing Endurance, but traditionally the deck has been Bant, so it does play cards with powerful ETB effects like Endurance. I do feel lucky that my opponent is playing a dirtily deck like I am, because that means I'm not going to be the only person who's on time pressure. Their deck is actually extremely difficult to play. There are a lot of branching decision making. It's kind of like Esper Vial. I'd argue it's probably harder to play than Esper Vial. Witch Enchanter, okay. Just playing it out. Yeah, that makes me wish that I had my Wasteland instead of one of these random lands that I grabbed. I didn't actually grab these. I grabbed fetches. Okay, there's another Leyline Binding. So I'm going to go ahead and attack. And now I'm going to flip. Witch Enchanter can take out our Leyline Binding. I get this back. So we need to stop that from happening. But they have to do something to flip the Witch Enchanter. I'm going to go ahead and play this land out just because I'm almost certainly going to use it. I guess I could have discovered a Wasteland on top. Okay, Merc's good. Okay, so I think what we do here is we probably just hold up Plow and we Merc. And I will be putting these lands back since we already played our land for turn. And we're likely to draw more as we do other cantripy stuff. So I'm going to plus here. And I'm going to go blue, blue, Merc. We still have Endurance up. We still have Leyline Binding. I'm going to make Merc big. Wait, I could regrow Witherbloom. Am I going to make Merc big? Yeah, I think I'm going to make Merc bigger. Let's see. I mean, let's face it. I'm not going to be getting Witherbloom back. I'm going to be getting Rakshasa back if I can get something back. And the reason I say that is because Tomio gives you free mana when you get something like that back. It's pretty chill. I can't stop this Plow. All right. They may have Felia, like Instep Felia. Okay, options. I think we just crack a clue here. Oh, I've got to fetch first. Let's undo that. So I'm going to get another white source for sure. I don't like having only one white source out. Okay. And now we'll crack a clue. All right, another Rakshasa bargain. So I think I could just keep going north with Tomio. That's pretty freaking good because this means that they can't, what's it called? Let's see. Yeah, I think we just plus here and we pass with lots of options up. Drawing half our deck doesn't necessarily like end the game immediately, but it does give us, I probably should have pondered there. So I am going to do this in the instep because I do not want my Leyline Binding flipped. Okay, cool. I could have just like endurance and stuff, but I don't want them to get this back and remove Tamio. I doubt they're playing Prismatic Ending. All right, so options. One, we could just endurance them, and that gives us a clock. Two, we could just, I think I'm actually going to endurance here because I do want to start attacking them, and hopefully I'll find an Uro. Wait, I have 2 Uros in my sideboard. Oh my goodness. Not in my sideboard, in my graveyard. Sorry, my excellent friends. I totally overlooked the fact that Uro had somehow gotten in there. I guess it got in there when I Witherbloomed. But man, that was, don't I feel like a horse's patoot, as I frequently say on the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and I think I'm just going to plus, and then I'm going to bring back Uro. I really realize that this is likely going to get killed. Let's go to combat first. Do some damage here. All right, now we want to tap in a way that we still have Leyline binding up. I think I'm just going to leave these 2 Tundras up. Green, green, blue, blue. It's Uro. 1, 2. I always take out all my fetches when I can do this so they don't get endurance back in my deck somehow. Because I don't ever want to see those fetches again now that I don't have lands to fetch with them. We draw a trigger. Solitude. What is this targeting? Oh, I guess it targets when it resolves. I don't really want to deal with Solitude on my Uro. I mean, I have another one. Yeah, I'm just going to let it go. They saw that I have the Force. I don't care. If they Ephemerate, I'll force that. Ephemerate is a must force. Okay, it's good. All right, so we got our trigger. I mean, I'm tempted to I can just Leyline mine this instead of forcing it. I think it's fine. So we got our trigger. No. Okay. I do want to go ahead and Leyline by now, just to ensure that they, yeah. All right, good. Bye, doggo. You are bound. All right, and now we just force to protect Tamio because they had to get rid of this. We're gonna draw half our deck. They scoop. Okay, so that felt pretty good. Actually, like they weren't attacking our mana any. I wouldn't be surprised if they have Harbinger of the Seas in here, but that's not too big of a deal. We didn't see any Wastelands on their side. I don't think Carpet comes in. I don't think we board. Wasteland was okay. It wasn't spectacular. We could go down a waste, and we could bring in a Carpet. The thing is, when you're bringing in Carpet, like if you bring in a lot of Carpets, then that's a lot of potential redundant draws late game. It's a terrible top deck, but it is very good in opening hands. Just in case they're bringing in a Harbinger. And also, you know, we got lucky and actually found targets for our Wastelands. I don't expect that to happen. Gosh, kicking myself. I need to like look out very aggressively, very vigilantly for the for Uros in my yard. That happened the previous league too. I like passed with like tons of mana up and like it was only later that I realized, oh damn, they're surgicling Uro. I didn't even know Uro was in my graveyard. And I think that may have actually cost me one of the games I lost in the previous league. And you'll see why. It wasn't that like I got my Uro, but it hit my clock. And okay, spoiler alert. I went to time when I was up against Jeskai, and that inspired me to strip out a lot of the cards that I was playing that were dirtily, like Malevolent Rumble and Life from the Loam. Oh, this hand's great. Got like all of our colors. We can even get a Surveil land for our green source. Yeah. We have Force, Pitch Ponder, and then we have a Murktide that we could potentially protect. I don't like that strategy. Oh, there's the Vial. And you know what we do to Vials in this household? Bitey bye. No thank you. Okay. And hopefully that was impactful. Yeah, Vial is a must counter card, in my humble opinion. So they are on Vial. They're on Blue-White Vial, which I love. I love Esper Vial. And I've tried for a long time to make Blue-White Vial work, but I haven't been able to. So they're basically doing Vial in... okay, so we're going to go get our Surveil land, and then we're going to attempt to go up the Beanstalk next turn, which is a very powerful turn to play. And having a Leyline binding is perfectly okay when we have a Beanstalk. If Beanstalk doesn't work, we still have 2 mana Leyline bindings, which is fine with me. I'm going to lead with the Underground Sea because I'd be less disappointed if that got wasted. This is probably where... Well, they probably would have forced... Yeah, if you want to blink that, that's okay. All right. Yep, they're in. And now they can do some serious damage if they have like... if they have Skyclave. If they have Recruiter, that's a very powerful play with Felia. They could Recruiter and then they could go get Skyclave. Stoneforge. All right. Yeah, that's potentially scary. If they go get Caldra, I'll just hit the actual construct itself, or the germ, because it is possible to get up to 7 mana over the course of this game. I did take out one of my Wastelands and start bashing me. I think they're going to blink their... Yeah, so they got pre-war. They don't have anything in their yard yet for it, and all my removals exile-based. So I don't actually know that pre-war was the correct thing to get. There's the Caldra. Okay, I figured Caldra would be coming. All right, so options. 1, we could just ambush Felia with an Endurance, which I like. I think the responsible thing to do is just bind her. We do need this to resolve. So I think I am going to go ahead and ponder first and see what I find. If I find a Plow, I can just fire that off. And then you may be asking, well, okay, do we want Carpet? So we put Carpet out and it's the same amount of mana and then we just Leyline Mine that. I think that's fine. I don't want this fetch. I'll take the bargain. That'll be good. Okay, so we're going to Carpet first. And then we can just Leyline Mine main phase on the Felia. And I'm less worried about Caldra. And the reason I'm less worried about Caldra is we have so many ways of removing Caldra. So this cantrips. I guess I am going to draw that land that I didn't want. Okay. All right. I think we're doing okay. I mean, this Carpet, like now they're punished for playing out islands. They do have non-island blue sources, like the Glasspool Mimic. 2-minute differential on the clock, but they have to win 2. We only have to win 1. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Glasspool Shore. Beautiful art on that. It's like some Bob Ross action. Yeah, we can't stop this Vial. But it like a turn 4 Vial is a lot less scary than a turn 1 Vial. All right, we're going to take a hit. Okay. Now we have so much mana that I think we just draw a ton of cards. So I'll just add white here. That's probably, or wait, no, I'll add blue. It doesn't matter. I'll add green. Yeah, like, let's go blue. They're not going to have Spell Pierce up. I want to keep white up. That's the most important color. Bargain. Draw trigger. Force. Awesome. All right, so we do have the Plow. So we can just Plow the Stoneforge or we can Plow the actual equipment. They can ephemerate it later. No, they can't ephemerate the equipment. So I do want to take the Beanstalk here and I'll take the Plow. The rest of these go in the yard. We only have 1 white source left in the deck, so we need to be mindful of that. I think we do just go ahead and Plow this now. They could ephemerate it. We could play a dangerous game where we just kill this. And so they don't have the ability to put the pre-war in. But the pre-war doesn't retrieve anything right now. We do have Force Blue card. It's greedy. I think I'm just going to be a responsible human being here and not a showboat. But I do think it's defensible to remove that and just chill. I would like to cast this bargain, but I'm totally fine forcing something important. It's worth noting that we can't force Felia here because they can just bring her right back. So we are going to need to find exile-based removal for that. I think next turn what I can do is I can just up the Beanstalk. This is a situation where having Mystic Sanctuary in the deck would be great, but I just couldn't justify it when we're playing 4 colors. I didn't want a single land that only taps for 1 color. Also, how good was Tamio last game? That was our 1 of Tamio. Spellseeker is going to come in. Again, this sucks because they can get Ephemerate, but I'll force the Ephemerate. They are also not too far from being able to get Yorion. Yeah, they get the Ephemerate. Okay, so Ephemerate will be forced when they eventually use it. Just take the hit. All right, there's no reason for me to crack this. I don't have any more ETB tapped lands. I've actually only got 1 ETB tapped land in my entire deck. Okay, there's a land that we didn't really want. I'm going to add green here, and I'm just going to go with the Beanstalk. I'll use this for it. Okay, we draw. Okay, Leyline Binding is pretty good. We could Leyline Bind that, but they can Ephemerate it, and then we force. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to play out a land here. It's a green source. We can Endurance if they attack again. That does put it back in their graveyard. I want to keep our options up here. Because if we Rakshasa, they could Ephemerate, we wouldn't have much counterplay. We don't have enough mana to both Leyline Bind and Rakshasa here. It's definitely tempting to just bind the Vial. I can wait until Ephemerate targets, and then I think exile something. I think I just take this hit. I mean, I'm tempted to like Endurance. I had endurance in my hand. I could have traded and like later do something. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and draw a bunch of cards here. Black. Actually, I'm gonna undo and I'm gonna fetch real quick. I need to play quickly. 10 minutes on the clock. No excuses. Grab a Savannah. Green, black, blue. 5 cards. We're very far ahead. Their value engine is good, but it is not, you know, Beanstalk. You're bargaining the double Beanstalk good. There's Tomio, who could potentially flip. There's a Force, which is great. I want to take the Wasteland in the bargain, and the rest goes in the yard. Now we have Uro. So this turn, we're going to waste their Glasspool Shore. I will add blue here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and waste the Glasspool first. Force the issue. Should probably just tab it. I can blow up Vial this turn too, and regrow a waste, which I can bring back with Uro, but there's no second land to waste. I do think blowing up Vial with Witherbloom is the play this turn though. And then I have double force to protect Uro once he's on this table, and he can close the game fairly quickly. Okay, they're floating. That is fine. I don't have any soft permission. If they have like a force negation or something, there's not a lot I can do. I can't interact with this. Let's see what they get. Another Stoneforge is fine. I'm not worried about equipment and stuff here. Aegis would be good if they had that. Lion's Sash, okay. Okay, they're going to try to go after our Uro. Okay, this is very clever, what they're doing here. And, yeah. Yeah, all this was uncounterable. So I can't bring Uro back. It's not the end of the world. I'll bring him back later. I'll find another one. Okay, that's gone. Tapped out of Ephemerate. I'm going to go... I'm going to get rid of this Spellseeker. They can just put the equipment back in, and when they do, I can... Yeah, that sucks because I can't play a second land. Okay, so I'm going to go green, black. I think, yeah, I'll do green, black. I'm going to get rid of their Vial. Hopefully I will flip another Uro. I did tap out of Endurance like a fool here. I will get back a Wasteland. Yeah, I think that's the most impactful thing I can get back. Now, gosh, this is so complicated. It's crazy how complicated this is. I'm going to play a Tomio here. And then I'm just going to Leyline Bind something. Leyline Bind. I'm going to immediately flip Tomio. I'm going to go for Lion Sash, I guess. Because it screws up, you know, my Earl lines and stuff. We're going to discard a bunch of cards here. Unless they try to interact like with a Solitude, and then I can force. Yeah, I would like to flip my Tomio, thank you. Okay, she flips. Leyline Binding comes in. I'll just hit the Sash. I do have the ability to Plow rather than discard. I'm going to Plow the Spellseeker. That's the card I don't want them to stuff. Okay, now I can pass. I do have a Force and an Endurance, but like if they try, they can't bring back Solitude. They can bring back Stone Mimic. You may have this enter as a copy of Control, except okay. So they could bring this back, technically, and then it would just be a duplicate, you know, Stoneforge. Okay, so we have a Wasteland for that. They don't have good attacks. I think I just need to try to win this game instead of the next game. Okay, so we're going to add blue here. Let's add blue. Let's go ahead and Merc. Merc will take out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to probably going up with Tomio maybe. I mean, I could just get back a Force, which seems pretty strong. Gosh, we have so many freaking lands. I would love to find a Brainstorm here. Yeah, I think I'm going to keep plussing. And then I'm going to take out that Tundra. And then I've got Endurance up. I've got Force. If they try to kill my creature, they're floating. Felia. I don't want to deal with Felia. I'm just going to force this. I could have bargained. I'm just trying to make decisions quickly. My goodness, are we going to draw any non-lands? Okay, Leyline Binding's great. Okay. That's gone. All right, and we don't have a way to defend our Merc, sadly. I'll just discard some lands here. Oh, they're going to put something in. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about this. Pre-war comes in. So it does come back, and we can just... I'm going to... Wait. My turn. Set stop. Okay, so I've got to stop. Oh, no, I already went to it. So unfortunately, I'm not... like when they attack, they can ephemerate this. Damn, that's pretty bad. And I could have also... Endurance there. I should have freaking Endurance. I forgot I had Endurance in my hand. I'm just playing so sloppy. So I am going to need to Leyline Bind here. They're low on resources. But Felia just gets them right back in the game because they can get this back. And I don't know. It didn't necessarily get them right back in the game. They have to kill our Merc. They can ephemerate our Merc. Actually, ephemerate may only work with creatures you control. Yeah, this is fine. I think I'm going to go ahead and just ephemerate this. Or not ephemerate it. Let's see. Do I have double green? I do. So I'm going to Leyline Bind here. If I'm talking less, it's because I'm freaking out about time. Thoughtseize is potentially good. Rainstorm is what I was begging for earlier. Let's get rid of this. All right, and you're welcome to swing with your... They said GG. GG's. Okay, wow. We got there against, like, this deck outvalues like nothing. Like nothing else. It's got Yorion, it's got Ephemerate, it's got tons of crazy stuff, so I feel very fortunate to have been able to get through that. But I think even with sloppy play, we navigated that. So let's go to round 2. We're 1-0. Round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent with a terrifying name. They've already mulliganed. This could mean they're on Moonstomp. Oh, this is a bad hand. Yeah, we're not going to keep this. We do have 21 lands in the deck, so these are like, this is just variance. It's just good deck building. No, it's variance. All right, there we go. That is a hand. All right, so this has Endurance plus Witherbloom in case they're on a graveyard strategy. Then they're, yeah, I do think we keep Witherbloom because they mulled. We could go get Underground Sea. We have all 4 colors, and we have the ability to Witherbloom. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to do maybe what seems to be a crazy play. Maybe that is crazy. I was going to put back the Bargain. I'm going to put back Bargain, definitely. I feel like Witherbloom plus Wasteland is good. I'm going to try it. We're not going to be able to force anyway. If they're on Oops, we are going to hit their graveyard, and hopefully that ends it. Okay. So they're on lands. Okay, stage. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to waste the stage and hope that they don't have... Oh, no. This is not good for us, friends. Not good at all. They're on freaking Loam. I guess I can Endurance. I don't want to pitch cast Endurance, just get rid of that land, that Loam, but I actually think it's correct to do so. Yeah, it's sad, but like they're going to get so much value out of this. Yep, I'm going to do it. It's crazy. It sucks, but that is what you do here. You do not let them keep their Loam around. Because they just, every turn they're basically drawing 3 cards. Yeah, and I'm glad I kept the hand that I did, because I'm going to need those lands, because we're going to get wasted a lot. Now, we do have two fetches, so we're going to be able to... Okay, there's the waste. Okay, and they seem to have a slow start. Hopefully this isn't the creature that does... Oh, a sphere. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We're just going to keep playing fetches that can't profitably be wasted. The good news is they don't seem to have a second Loam, and they're down to 2 cards. I'll play this out, and then next turn... I mean, until we have something to do, we're not going to do anything. There is an argument for playing the Wasteland out, just in case they have depths, but they don't have it. Okay, well, I mean, that doesn't change the fact that it was probably right to go ahead and just put the waste out and force them to waste. I think I'm going to put the waste out this turn. And when they waste me, I'll waste them back. So this is just a race against Loam. If they find a Loam before we find what we're doing here, then we're in trouble. This could be crop rotation. Oh, there's just commercial district. Okay. All right. And this not in my sideboard card guide. We don't really have anything. I mean, Force of Vigor is pretty good against them, in my opinion. I'd probably bring that in. Oh, actually, I lied. We've got freaking Ground Seal, which is awesome against lands. Because if you shut off Loam, you shut off their deck. Like, they can still win, but that's the core engine of their deck. Okay. So here's what I think we do. I think we play this out, and we wait a turn, and then next turn we can Witherbloom it and blow up their... We could blow up the sphere right now, but then we don't... Oh, yeah, we could just get back a fetch. I think that's what we do. Yeah, because the Mox is too late to do anything here. I'm going to go ahead and do this. We have to be mindful of the fact that... Okay, they're doing that. I'm going to add green here. That's fine. So now we just need a black source. We could get a replacement green source here in Bayou. Then I'm so tempted to just blow up the Mox and then waste one of their lands and trap them under their own sphere. That may be too cute. I think I'm going to get a Tundra here just so we have all our colors. They could have freaking crop rotation, which would be a travesty. There's no non-basic that they can target here. If they have crop rotation, I'll be so disappointed in myself. Okay. And now, are we really going to try to land screw the lands deck? Let's go for it. Yeah, I'm freaking crazy. What can I say? Oh no, I don't have the freaking correct mana. This needs to be black. Okay, sorry for saying freaking so much if your kids are watching. That is not a curse word, but it is still not becoming of an upright, upstanding netizen such as myself. I haven't used the word netizen in my entire life. I figured I'd use it there. Okay, I'll mill myself. I'll blow up your Mox. That's a 3-for-1, basically. I am going to get back the Wasteland. And then I'm going to hope that I can trap them under the Mox. They only draw one card a turn. I can use the Wasteland. Do we get the Wasteland back? It's so greedy. So greedy. I mean, it is a good card. All right. And now we're going to pass. Yeah, I think I probably should have gone after the Sphere. I think that was super greedy. They'll probably just play a land now. They'll probably just maybe a Wasteland. Okay, Grove. That's good to know about. That is non-consequential for our deck. All our creatures have sufficient toughness that they can disregard it. Okay, I'm going to play that. I'm going to chill. End step, I will brainstorm just for forward momentum. But if they crop rotate, I can force that. Yeah, I should not have gone after the Mox. I just want to be abundantly clear. Like, the Sphere was absolutely the right thing to go after, and I was being a greedy bastard. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this very expensive brainstorm here just to get deeper into our deck. All right, Leyline Binding. Leyline Binding does answer this. Yeah, and I'll draw the Plow. Or I'll draw the Ponder, I guess. It doesn't matter. Okay. So now we can just Leyline Bind, and then we can force if we need to. I'm just going to chill, and I'll do that end step. And that way, in case they do make like a big scary lake monster, we can deal with that. Lots of lands. Not looking too smart for making that play I made, am I? Leyline Bind. And we'll get rid of the Sphere. Our opponent may be thinking, hey, they're about to have Force of Will up. I need to do my crop rotation now. That is indeed what they are thinking. They grab a Wasteland, we're in trouble. Yeah, they did get a Wasteland. They cut us off blue, we're just rudderless here. And again, all of this is because I made that mistake of going after the non-consequential Mox. Yeah, they are cutting us off blue. And we're coming in. Grabbing that. If they have the Boseiju in their deck, that's a problem for us. I'm just going to chill. We can't do anything because I got greedy. I should have maybe also grabbed a fetch. This does insulate us against Merit Lage combo, but we'd already taken out the... yeah, there. I mean, this could be consequential. I want them to crop rotate again. We're going to chill. We got double force up and Wasteland activation. But if they can go get another Wasteland, I'll just concede to Life from Loam. I don't think we're going to ever beat that. Red. Okay, what is this? Are they going to start burning us? By all means. It's the slowest burn ever. It does take up clock, and lands is very good at killing your clock. That's often how they beat me, is just clocking me with, tabernacle triggers and stuff like that. They found it. We had a window where we could do stuff. I'm going to concede. We could find endurance. I guess I'll just play this. Yeah, but we have to find endurance right now. We can't cut them off green. They've got plenty of green. So we have like a 1-turn window to find endurance. And then the game's over. And it'll be over very quickly because they'll be able to Beanstalk. This doesn't actually solve our problem, but it could draw us into a land. And then we force and we stay alive for another turn cycle. This does give us a cantrip effect off of that. Do we want to get greedy? I do. I want to make efficient use of my mana. There's a decent chance we find a green. Or Rakshasa. Yeah, this is a shuffle. So now we're not going to have a force anymore. Yeah, we found a land. I don't hold out hope. I'm gonna keep playing. Our clocks are practically even, but they once they get the tabernacle and the Rishon ports and all that stuff going, you lose so much clock so quickly. If we do find endurance, they still get to use it a second time. We get endurance to get rid of all this stuff. But then they can waste here, and then they've got the Dark Depths combo next turn, and we don't have a white source anymore. Yeah, again, compounding, like all of this stems from that one bad decision with Witherbloom command to take out their Mox. That proved to have no consequence, that was beneficial. But let's say we take that out, then we're not spending, we're done. We're not spending our turn cycle, Leyline binding that thing, and then we have force up to counter their, it was just a horrific decision. I'm going to keep beating myself up over that. Okay, so as I said, Ground Seal is quite good. Force of Vigor is great. Force of Negation's arguably better than Force of Will. They don't actually have that many cards in their deck that we can go after, though. Cards that are not good here. Thoughtseize is pretty bad against lands decks. Plow is pretty bad against lands decks. I'm going to live in the world where we're binding stuff and drawing cards. And this can go after non-creature permanents as well. Tamiyo is not atrocious against them. It's worth noting that like Murktide is really important here because they can get a Karakas and just keep us from winning indefinitely. We're not taking any lands out of our deck. We're not taking Endurance out. What do we cut? I don't think we bring in this many Force Negations. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a couple Force of Wills, and I'm going to do an even split 2 and 2. No, Force Negation is not that good. I'm not sure that 3 Force and Vigor is warranted. 2 is certainly worth it. I think we just go 2. Like this is really for the Moonstompy matchup. Let's see. What could we hit? We could have hit a Mox, and I think actually this might be worth it because they're going to be squeezing our mana, and this is one of the ways we can fight back without spending mana. This might be hard to cast. Everything else in our deck is totally fine. Yeah, I'm going to submit. Again, I don't think you should think about lands when constructing. I think you should think about Oops All Spells, Moonstompy, and Tempo decks. This is a Force of Vigor hand with lands. I'm keeping this. We have the ability to get Underground Sea, and then we have Force of Leyline binding up. They mulled a 6. I feel like we totally could have won that previous game. Like, it may seem like, oh man, they've got so many resources, but they were running out of cards in hand, and they didn't have their Loam Engine going. Like, us being able to end their Loam Engine early on, even though I think we mulled a 5, I think that would have been really consequential. I would love to just for them to immediately give me a good target for Force of Vigor. I don't think that's it. But if they get a... Force of Vigor is very good against... and I'm not going to fetch here because I want to maximize the number of lands I get. And I do want to have black up so I can Leyline bind something. I might actually Leyline bind this just to slow them down. That might have been a big part of their plan. Force of Negation is great. Let's go get our black source. Again, we're really screwed to Wasteland, but we just have to like lean into that. We're not a deck that is equipped. So now we have 2 forces up. And I will be pitching Rakshasa. Well, we're only 1 land away from being able to cast that. I might pitch Brainstorm instead. Rakshasa's Bargain is so powerful. Wasteland. All right. So we're going to be doing garbage time. Oh, they cut us off white. Interessante. Crop Rot. I'm just going to force that. No lands for you. I will take the Rakshasa. This Brainstorm can at least find us additional lands. Okay. And that was a 2 for 2. They did lose a land when they crop rotated. All right. Let's see if we can find a land here. We're not in a terrible spot, but we're not in a great spot. Now we're in a bad spot. I'm going to put this back. I'm going to put this back. I'm going to force pitch force, and I'm going to hope that we can win with the Murktide, assuming they don't have a Wasteland. I'm not going to concede to a Wasteland, but it will be backbreaking if they have it. Okay, now we have green again. So we're just chilling. They're probably going to be making land drops. We won't be. Now they know how precarious our situation is. They could crop rotate for a Wasteland and put us in the dirt, but we will force that stage. This is a definite force. We could wait a turn and we could Force of Vigor it. Yeah, because we still technically have force up. I like Force of Vigor because I want to be able to force a crop rotation. So we're drawing Leyline binding here. We're just going to pass. Come on, play out an enchantment or an artifact. Don't have Loam. I feel like if they had Loam, they would have used it by now. This is a Wasteland. We can't allow this to resolve, sadly. Yeah, this is unfortunate. I feel like, yeah, because they just waste us and then we have literally nothing going on. At least this way we buy a turn where we might be able to, I'm not sure, like draw a Force Negation for next time. There's a land. I'm going to play it out. We still don't have white for Leyline Binding. There's no way they don't loam here and waste us. And then I think the game is over functionally. Yeah, let's get out of here. Sorry, my excellent friends. You can't win them all. This is just... We're going to get wasted here. I guess technically Endurance keeps us alive for a turn cycle. Because they're going to waste... If they don't waste, if they get greedy, what do they put in their hand? They put Maze of Ith is an insane card against us as well. They're going to go for a Trop. And they can just waste this again for the rest of the game. But if we draw Endurance right now, we can take care of that. That's the only card in our deck that I will not concede to drawing. Yeah, good game. Okay, let's go to the next round. I don't think this is an unfavorable... I think it's probably like a 45-55. It's not like a nightmare matchup. We have lots of tools. We just need to use them properly, and I didn't. Round 3, we're up against friend of the channel, Root Slay. They're likely on Chain of Smog combo. I think this hand's totally fine. They've been playing a lot of like Reanimator, Chain of Smog. This is an Endurance hand. We could brainstorm into a green card to pitch cast it. Odds of hitting a green card when we already have one in hand. Let's check the Hypergeometric. 53 cards in the deck. We have 13 other green cards in the deck. 13. We get a sample size of 3. 57.8%. So it's not a terrible percentage that we can potentially brainstorm into something. But if they don't go for it immediately, yeah, I'm going to do this. Because I would like to get the green card, and green is the most important color other than blue in our deck. I'd like to get it. Stitcher Supplier. Well, Endurance is going to be really good here. Yeah, that's fine. So we're against like some sort of dredge type. Oh, wow. Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected. The good news is they didn't get anything good. Bad news is they do have Unmask in their deck, so they almost certainly can strip our Endurance if we don't find something to help us pitch cast it. And right now that's not consequential, but they could have a lot of good stuff in their graveyard later. Certainly possibility of a Cabal Therapy. This is great. I do want to go up the Beanstalk, and I am going to risk... yeah, because if we're going up the Beanstalk, I'm going to keep the white in my hand so they don't see that. Yeah, I'm willing to risk going off of Pitchcast Endurance. I don't want to Pitchcast Endurance anyway. It's like anti-value, but yeah, I'm just like a value enthusiast. I'm a sucker for 2-for-1s. Thoughtseize. Unfortunately, this is going to take Endurance. Let's see. The Chain of Smog combo deck they were playing did not play a Dragon's Guard Elite. I've never even seen this card. So basically, you can Chain of Smog with this, and then you just get a whole bunch of +1/+1 counters. Okay, so really heavy on the Chain of Smog, which I've always thought Chain of Smog is a pretty janky card, but we're going to see here. Another Stitcher. They did indeed take our Endurance, by the way. Now they have Entomb and Gristlebrand. Oh, no! Not like this. Yeah, we're dead. I'm going to see some more of their deck, but like we have lost. And Goro's Vigilance, this is a targeted ability. I am going to bring in the Ground Seals for this. This has haste. They gain 7 life. They can draw more cards. I'm tempted to concede, but we've already given them all the information about our hand. They know we're on Beanstalk. They probably are familiar, like probably tuning into our videos once in a while, so they know what I'm up to. Beans. The more you eat them, the more you toot. This is a really cool swamp art. Man, I just love like these kind of classic kind of landscape type Bob Ross style almost. Just very classy. As Portal 3 Kingdoms. Back when like kind of like Douglas Schiller style, like just minimal elements. There's the therapy. Yeah, they're therapying themselves, so we are going to get to see more of their deck. But it is, you know, an Entomb deck. And you know how I feel about Entomb if you ever watch my channel. But I will not hold out hope that they will ever ban it. I'm just equipped to survive. Survive. Okay, Goro's. This is the discard a bunch of lands. Okay, I'm going to concede. It's cool. We saw enough of their deck. We know we're dead. It's cool that they therapied themselves so we could just quickly see their hands so we didn't have to wait around. Okay. Yeah, we saw like more than half their deck there. Okay, so Ground Seal comes in. Force Negations come in. I don't want to pull out the Plow because it does deal with some other creatures, but it's a Wasteland's not good. We can take that out. It is going to be like Rakshas's Bargain pitches both endurance and force negation. I think Witherbloom pitches too, but it's just such a bad card. In this matchup, it doesn't really do anything. Killing a Stitcher Supplier is not what you want to do. You want to just fly over the Stitcher Supplier and kill them with your Murktide so you don't give them extra triggers. I'll leave this with like one more cut. We could take a Plow out. Leyline Binding triggers Beanstalk, and it also gets like errant, things they may be doing. By the way, if you're not familiar with the word errant, it is a word that I did learn from Magic the Gathering. This is like errant knight or something like that. It's like a traveling, looking for adventure, and it can also mean just like non-standard. Yeah, I think we do it like this. Lavinia could actually come in. It's too late, I submit it, but Lavinia would be good here because it shuts off some of the things they can do with like Dark Ritual, and it shuts off Unmask. This is a keep. I'm not going to overthink it. It's a Force Blue card, hand, and we can open Hedge Maze and just dig a little deeper to Beanstalk. Uro goes in the yard. We can bring him back. I love putting Uro into the yard. It's so much value. I mean, it's great to cast an Uro, but like early game. All right. Turbo hand. Therapy. So here's what I'm thinking. I think we force negate this because we don't want to deal with it later. And if they have the Stitcher Supplier, this is extra triggers. They were going to name force anyway, so we were going to lose the force. They're passing. Okay. That's a good draw if we can find... Yeah, I'm going to play this out. And now we have Plow up, which is not nothing, but we're pretty dead in the water here. This can get Bayou. No, this probably gets Savannah. And then we have 3 mana to cast a Leyline Binding next turn if we need to. Okay. We're close to bringing back Uro. We have lots of colors. I'm just going to pass. We couldn't... let's see. We grab Underground. Yeah, we can't actually double interact because we do need to grab like a Bayou here. Or, let's see. We grab... Yeah, we don't have a Scrubland in the deck. That's the one duel that I considered putting in that I decided not to. So our opponent still does not know the composition of our hand. They do know that we pitched a force to our force negation. I hope they go for some sort of creature-based combo. This is fine. I'm going to let this resolve. Next turn, we are very close to bringing back Uro. Let's see, we cracked twice. If they make us discard a card here, then we do get to bring back Uro. That's not true. We need to get one more card in the guard. I think it's quite likely that they just Entomb Reanimate here or something like that, knowing that we can't interact. And we can Plow, but they're going to draw so many cards that it doesn't matter. They're just going to set up their next reanimation effect. It's possible they saw Endurance and they knew that we're playing Force and they deprioritized Entomb type strategies. But yeah, I'd be stunned if they really pivoted that far off of it. I would love it if they named Endurance here. Rakshasas Bargain. Okay, that's a good card to name. Now they probably have Stitcher Supplier. I mean, we don't get a window to Plow. Oh, we're getting another turn. Let's go. The small victories. So I'm going to tap off of Binding. Well, they're giving us something to do. Please give us a creature to Plow. I need to fill up my yard. No. Okay. Well, there's no reason to fetch here. We don't have any ETB tap lands. They're not going to Surgical or Uro and upkeep. Oh, let's see. We're so close. So I played the land that we drew, and I gave away that we have nothing here. That was such a dumb punt. So it may seem like not a big deal, but now they know that we didn't draw a blue card for Force, and we're just one mana. We're one card shy of being able to use the Uro. Yeah, that was very dumb. I should have just played out the Trop. There was no merit tactically to playing that out. Yeah, sorry, my excellent friends. I will continue to apologize for my punts because you deserve better, and I will one day be excellent. Okay, legend rolling it. Unmask, targeting me, by all means. Okay, Petal. Now this is the Entomb Reanimate. What? You just gave us Uro. Why did you do that? Why did you do that, Rude Slay? Entomb. Do you have like an instant speed thing you're going to do here? Okay, Gris. Not a huge surprise. I'm going to chill. Okay. I really wish I had something better to do than just grab an Uro, but that's literally the only option I have, I think. So I do want to play this, so at least I have Plow up, but that's all I'm going to have up. And my opponent will know that. They won't know, actually, because I'm not going to play the Bayou like a chump. Let's go ahead and sack. Let's go grab a Underground Sea, and I'll sack. I'll grab a Savannah, and I will sack one more so I can get Uro. We'll grab Tundra. We've got the full smorgasbord. We've got triple green, quintuple blue. Okay, so let's go green, green. If their last card is Reanimate, it'd be so clutch. Well, I guess I can... no, I won't be able to do it. I think the Plow is probably more important. Just being able to do something in the face of Gristlebrand. The world's slowest Uro return. I'm just like... I'm not pressured for time in this matchup. I mean, we're probably not going to make it through the next turn. Actually, if I play out the Bayou, I do have... if I play out the Bayou, I do have Leyline Mining as well. I guess I just play this out. I've got plenty of cards I can fetch. All right, so our opponent knows we didn't draw force blue card because we did play out a second land, but I think it's better to have Leyline Mining up in case we need it. So we just have to hope they don't have a reanimation effect. If it's Animate Dead, we can actually stop Gristlebrand from entering with Leyline Mining. If it's just Reanimate or Goro's Vengeance, there's not a lot we can do. There's Reanimate. We cannot do anything about that. So now they are going to win. They can only draw once. So this is a window where we could exile it, but I don't want to give them any life. I think I'm just going to let Leyline Bind here. And the reason I'm going to Leyline Bind is this way they have to rip like another Entomb, Reanimate. Like they have to get both of the cards. And then we still have Plow for whatever is coming next. I don't think they have any way to disrupt our Leyline Bind, but they may draw into like some sort of combo. They're at 5, so they're dead on board if they don't have exactly like the ability to reanimate something that has lifelink. So actually, we're not in a terrible spot depending on what they drew. Unmask, targeting me. That's fine. You can take my Plow. Dark Depths, interesting, very interesting. Do you have Hexmage? I do get an Uro trigger. I gain life. I get out of Depths. Suppose of the Vault. They're doing it. Oh my goodness. My heart is beating so fast. If they, this is such a high risk, high reward. What? They had it off the top? They literally found it on the top? That's crazy. Okay, so, yeah. What does this do exactly? Remove all counters from the up to 1 target permanent. They had 5 looks, and they were dead, and they found it on the top. So when you cast a spell, okay, Death Touch. Yeah, so this is going to kill our Uro when we crush it. It's freaking crazy. But I'm not going to be too disappointed at like just crazy luck doing me in. I do feel like, you know, we're doing our best here. I can't bring back Uro. Ground Seal is a turn too late. If I can remove, I have to remove both of these. I'm trying to think if it makes sense to just attack with Uro first or Ground Seal first. Because we see the same number of cards either way. If we Ground Seal into like something that can remove both cards, which there's nothing in our deck that can do that, but like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and Ground Seal. Merc. This is actually pretty close. We could attack in, then we could play a Merc and block. We could take the hit. We could take the hit from this and kill with Merc on the backswing. It'll be 4/4. It won't be big enough. We'll see what we draw. I do have to attack. That goes in. All right, this does give us a big enough Merc to survive. Ponder. Plow. So we Plow this. They gain a bunch of life. I don't think that's super safe. It does make our Merc bigger. And then we just hope that they can't win. We do have Ground Seal in play. Okay, I'm going to Plow and then I'm going to Merc. And I'll have a big Merc. And they'll have a ton of life. And we'll figure it out. Force Negation is hard castable next turn. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this first. Oh, yeah, actually, if we hit the Cultist, it doesn't really matter. I think I'm just going to hold this because we've got a lethal swing with Merc anyway if they attack. Oh, no, I still have blue up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gotta plow up. This is a freaking crazy game. My goodness. Is this not a crazy game? Are you not entertained? 5/5. Come at me, bro. What they can do is they can attack with the cultist in the next turn. They can attack again, and we're dead. Yeah, but they can't swing with Lage. Cultist comes in. That's fine. Yeah, I think if I had it to do over again, I probably should have just... Yeah, you gain a bunch of life. Another depths. Okay. So Force Negation is not going to protect us against cultists if they have it. But if they had it, they would have used it last turn. I'm going to come in for a hug. We've got Force Negation up, which we can cast on basically anything. They can Flashback Therapy. Now we're in Depths Distance. They have a lot of mana. All right. Can we close? Here's Tommy. I'm going to play her out. She can help us crack clues and draw to something. Man, this is a freaking ball game. My goodness, what a crazy sequence of... Mainly taking Ice Scanners off. We're at that stage of the game. I don't think they're going to be able to get that out, get the depths out before I can mark them. By the way, it feels great to say mark them. It's like short for mercenary. Mercenary them. As though we were in like a very sketchy part of the world. We won! Oh my goodness. And I still think we made a misplay by not just plowing immediately. Because we could have had more power on this and we could have taken a turn off. Like we would have hit him. It's just fewer turns. Yeah, but I'm fine with the outcome. Okay. So depths does kind of make me want to bring in Wasteland, but I think it's a trap. I think it's a trap. They make me want to bring my Plow back in. That could have saved our bacon. Thoughtseize is less good on the draw, but it's still pretty good. They're not interacting with our land at all. We could cut another land. I don't like that. I do think this is 4 Force Negation matchup. I mean, Thoughtseize would have felt pretty bad as a late game draw. Yeah, I think we bring in Lavinia and we take out the Thoughtseize, and now we don't have to fetch black at all, which simplifies our fetching decisions. Yeah. I don't think Lavinia is going to do a whole lot, but it does stop Cabal Therapy Flashback too, because you're casting it without paying any mana. This is the freaking God hand. This is the best hand we could possibly hope for. We have Inevitability in Uro and a pitch in Uro. I'd rather have Force pitch Murktide than Force pitch Uro. And Ponder can help me navigate to a potentially winning game state. Land number 3, basically. That's what I'm looking for. Guys, this deck is awesome. I love playing this deck. I love Endurance. I've always loved Endurance. You've always been my true love in my heart, Endurance. They did labor over that decision, so it could be that it's unprotected. 5! They went to 5. Giving us black mana already. Rit. Therapy's going to take our Force. I'm going to let them take our Force. They're going to see our Endurance and weep. Unless they have a follow-up interaction spell, which would be devastating. But then they wouldn't have the mana to Entomb Reanimate. They did name Force. No surprise. Like I would say probably 90+% of therapies name Force of Will. That's legacy-wide. Stitcher Supplier, that's fine. This does represent them being able to therapy again and take our Endurance, which is pretty unfortunate. But the trigger will happen first, and we can't wipe their graveyard. There's an Archon. Okay. They mill their cards. Now we Endurance them. They had 2 fatties in there. They're going to be able to take our Ponder probably. They had a very strong opening hand. And we're going to hope that from one card, they cannot rebuild. So they still get the trigger. They still get the actual therapy effect. They'll probably name Ponder. Murktide actually might be the better name because it is going to pretty quickly come out and shorten the length of the game. I mean, it just goes to show you how powerful these types of reanimate strategies are, that they can mold to 5 and you have double protection, and it's not enough to like completely kill them. But we did, get them, chop them down to size a little bit. I don't have a Wasteland in my deck, but that would be an insane top deck. Binding. Right, we're just going to start going to town here. This is our Tri-Land. This Tri-State area. That is New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania, I believe. I'm not sure. New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. Thank you, AI Overlabs, which just cribbed that from Wikipedia. So let's actually click to Wikipedia and give it its due click. Okay. They have nothing so far. A Stitcher supplier breaks it open. If I play this out, it tells them that I drew a Misty, but it also gives us the option of Leyline binding. No, it doesn't. Yeah, we're not going to have enough mana. I'm going to play this out so they don't have any new information. We could Surveil there, but we're going to be able to Merc next turn anyway. It's just going to be a 5/5 Merc. Hopefully that'll do them in. This can go get a Savannah. It's probably the best bet. Yeah, actually we could Brainstorm. See what we get first, and then we can Leyline. Then we can Merc. Bargain's insane. I don't want these fetches. Yeah, that was a very good Brainstorm. And now our Merc will be bigger, and we will have some things we can do subsequent turns. Actually, unfortunately, we do need to get a blue source here. We cannot get... Yeah, so I'll just get a Tundra. I wanted to get double green just because it's like less likely that I'll draw that, but Murktide coming down is more important. We got to close this game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. Next turn, we do have Rakshasa's Bargain, which may come up with a forced blue card or another Endurance. They are crimped on mana, even if they find Endurance. Or, I mean, they could have Dark Ritual in hand, but unmasking us, they pretty much are certain to take the Bargain here. Okay. And so now, even if they are able to reanimate, I'm trying to think if there's any reason, anything I could do. Yeah, I'll just attack first. That's just my heuristic. Play a land, attack, then cast your spells. That's how I usually do it. There's no reason not to go ahead and do this. We could find a Ground Seal. I'm going to use black here. Ponder. Ground Seal, please. I mean, these are not bad cards. I think we try to spike a Ground Seal. Okay, we got to Plow anyway. So we're going to definitely want to Leyline bind and not Plow here if we get a window to do so. GG's! Holy cow. Game 2 was a freaking thrill ride, and Game 3 was exciting too. Shout out to Rude Slave for just being a chill person. See you in round 4. We are 2-1, losing only the lands. We're up against Battlegrounds with a hand we can't keep unless they're on Oops All Spells for sure. Even then, I don't think we keep it. Cool fact, there was a board game shop called Battlegrounds in Oklahoma City, and that's what I played on like around 2008, 2009. I got back into Magic and did a lot of block up there. Yeah, they play a broad range of decks, like pretty much everything. A lot of combo, but I still don't think it's correct to keep a no-lander. So let's mulligan this. And this hand has everything we had in the other hand, but it's way better. Way better. So I think we just put back the Uro. We're not going to need it until later. Bargain, it does pitch the Force. So does Uro, but yeah, I'm going to be more excited about casting Bargain once I have this Beanstalk out. So we can Surveil here and we'll pass. All right. I am back with my tea. We lost a couple minutes. Sorry about that, my excellent friends. Hopefully this doesn't go to time. Again, I'm expecting this to be a combo matchup. But if they start, slinging Yorians around and stuff, I could be in a bad spot. Island, Delver. Oh, we're against Delver. Okay, well, we do not have basics, so we don't have to, be cowards and fetch basics. That's one of the nice things. Is like we're going straight into the breach here, and we are going to cast this Beanstalk. And we are going to defend the Beanstalk because it will be worth it. That card is good with Beanstalk, and it is good against Delver, but it is slow. And yeah, Uro is really what we're looking for now that we know they're on... sorry, I said it's good against Beanstalk. It's good against Delver. Great rip. White is too important of a color to subject to potential Wasteland. I'm going to do this. And again, I'm going to force to protect this if they daze. It's important enough for me to resolve this. I am going to... If I pitch the beans, I have nothing... the Bargain, I have nothing going. I'm going to do the high value play of keeping the Brainstorm around. Or keeping the Bargain around. Yeah, I bet they do something other than waste me next turn. If I have the Beanstalk on the table and everything. All right. Ponder. So we're rewarded for keeping this Because I was worried, like, okay, what if we get wasted out of bargain range and we're just doing nothing? But we do have access to bargain next turn, which will cantrip and help us find some cards and hopefully an Uro. Sooner we find an Uro, the sooner we can start. Okay, they don't flip their Delver. That's great for us. And they play a land. So, okay, double Delver. This gets scary because once they find something, suddenly we're taking 6 a turn. They could have days again, but we still cantrip. Binding is quite good. I think we want to bind one of them, and then we can ponder. I just don't want to take too much damage. I know that this Beanstalk is super tempting, but yeah, we're going to get a card and hopefully find a land. So we'll take that out. We did find a ponder, so I'm going to ponder. I'm going to try to find a land for next turn. I think this is a shuffle because Plow's so good though. I'm not going to, I'll put the beans at the bottom. And I'll just hope they don't have a Wasteland. They didn't waste me previous turns, and now we have Force Up, and that draws and stops like a potential threat. Again, we're just hoping they don't have Wasteland because that will mean that we have to ponder stuff a little bit. Since I have another bargain on top, I am tempted to just pitch the bargain in case I need to dig for a land here. They didn't flip it. You know what? I think I'm going to be greedy and go for this because they may not have a land. And they may be able to ponder as a result of this. Or days. And then, yeah, but they didn't. Okay, they did find a land. Okay, another pondering. I feel like we're incredibly favored from here. We can bargain next turn. Even if they daze it, we draw a card. And it does set them back. We find a land. Then we plow. Green. Black. Blue. Your powers combined. I am Rakshas's bargain. Draw trigger. Back up, Rakshasa. I think I do take a Wasteland here, and I'm not going to complain about taking a Plow here. All right, and we're going to go ahead and waste them. I think they may not be struggling on mana, but now we're going to be very embarrassed if they Plow our Savannah. Other than that, or waste our Savannah, but other than that, I think we're probably going to be okay. So they weren't able to set up their Delver, so they're just sitting there with an embarrassing turn 4 Delver that hasn't done anything. Okay. Merc could come out, but we do have Merc covered. DRC, that's going to get the Plow rather than the Delver. Okay. And we got a land, so we can actually plow both of them. I think the Plow is actually more important than Rakshasas. Okay. And I do think we go ahead and do this again. We have enough life. I'm going to get a Tundra, so we are diversified off of losing white. Green. Black. Blue, would you like to keep playing the game? All right, Underground Sea, Brainstorm, and a Beanstalk. I mean, I think I'm going to take both Beanstalks. I know it's crazy. We've got a land for next turn. We got this Ponder that we haven't even really had a window to cast because we were just so busy Beanstalking. We're not going to deck ourselves. We just need to trust we're not going to deck ourselves. Delver doesn't flip for the fourth turn in a row. All right. So we find Endurance and it's GG. Merc would also be pretty GG. This is a Merc on their side. They're going to gain a bunch of life here. Not necessarily, but I'm pretty sure it is correct to... there's a Leyline Binding that deals with the Merc without them gaining life. I'm going to go green, blue, Beanstalk. Draw trigger. Another land. We can't play it yet. I think I just... go ahead and get rid of this now. I'm tempted to go ahead and plow one of these. We'll see what we draw. I'd like to find a force now. Thoughtseize, not going to be casting that against the this opponent. I am just going to plow one of these just to mitigate the risk of them suddenly like bolting us out after flipping both Delvers. They may flip this Delver, but we'll deal with it. I feel confident that we will eventually find a way out. Okay, this scoop. Great. That felt great. This is a very positive matchup against Delver, but Price of Progress could absolutely come in. And, you know, I'm not going to stop developing just out of fear of Price of Progress. That's not how I roll. So this is a very easy sideboard substitution. We take out the Thoughtseizes. You never want to Thoughtseize Delver. We take out the Wastelands. We bring in these, and we bring in the Hydros. And it's a clean 5 for 5. Let's go. All right, we're back with the trap hand. This is not good enough, in my humble opinion. Not for our deck. We need 2 lands, or really we want to find carpet. This is fine. I think this is okay. Uro's insane here, but we're going to have to hedge maze and try to find land. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. We don't have a way to plow, but plow's instrumental in our long-term survival. Uro's cracked if we get enough mana. We can live in that world, but Beanstalk is more castable. I'm going to put Uro back again. I'm not happy about it. Delver on the play is a lot scarier than Delver on the draw, and we beat Delver on the play, which is not the accomplishment that, you know. All right, so we are going to go ahead and play this out and dig for exactly land. That is a land. I'm going to keep that. Even though it is not the land we want, it is a land. I want a white source. The mana base has felt great, by the way, so far. Now we're putting it to the test. This is the stress test. The real stress test will be Moonstompy. Moonstompy's probably like a 30, 70. I mentioned this in a previous video, but like I did go up against Moonstompy the other day, twice in a row at my local, and whoa, they don't have any more land. That's good. But that does also mean that they probably have days. So I am kind of tempted to just ponder here. I could double ponder. I don't want to subject my plow to, yeah, this is a, I mean, these cards are great. We could endurance as soon as next turn, but again, if they have Wasteland, we have to draw through all this, and we don't have white, I'm going to shuffle this. I am zeroing in on carpet exactly, or yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cast this too. I think this is a shuffle. We are looking for white mana. Okay, that's not the worst, but I think the odds of us actually being able to cast it are pretty low. Next turn, we do have Days Protected Beanstalk. If they find out Wasteland, they could solo us with this Insectile Aeration. I could have forced this, but I'm pretty sure maybe they didn't want to Daze our Ponder. Yeah, there's the Wasteland. All right, and this is where all the shuffling and pondering is going to pay us back, right, deck? We're going to actually see a card that taps for white mana. All right, we did it. Okay, so I'm just going to take the heat off immediately. I don't really even care what happens from here. I will force to protect this plow because we're getting out of the early game, and that's what you have to do. You just have to survive the early game. And then we've got a big Murktide hitting next turn if they don't waste us off blue. If they do waste us off blue, we'll just carpet, or we'll Beanstalk. This is fine. I'm not going to counter this. They have to flip it. They have to invest resources in it. We're still at 13. We have Uro in our deck. We can plow our own marks if we need to. I think we just Beanstalk here and chill with Days Protected mana up. This unlocks our end game. I'm not going back to playing a basic island. I'm too greedy. My goodness. Okay, we got to land. This is fantastic. We've got Hydroblast up. We've got Force. I don't want to pitch the Murktide, though. I think Murktide will be insane here. So I will pitch the Hydroblast if it comes down to it. Okay. Now, our opponent got very unlucky, frankly. It happens. Let's not celebrate too much. We are we've only lost really the games against lands, and we lost one against Root Slide. These other ones have been 2-0s, which feels great. I love this deck. I'm so greedy. We're against somebody who trophied with Omnitel today. Congrats, Gablmeister. I'm not going to tell you that I know that because you might think like, oh, he probably doesn't know what I'm on. But this is a forced blue card hand. We can sift through our deck. We can brainstorm away this plow. Everything else is great here. I think we keep this. I don't consider this a trap. Well, let's see. What else could they be playing? Just combo. If they switch back to Stifle Knot, then that's a huge problem for us. That's what they're mainly playing. But because this is literally today, I'm going to presume they're still on it. Also, shout out to Goldfish for having like literally today. That's pretty fast turnaround time. I'll keep. And I'm just going to ponder for a land. Again, if they're on Stifle Knot, I will feel very sad, but they're already mulling. Stifle Knot doesn't need to mull as aggressively as Omnitel type deck. So I feel, we'll see how vindicated I am. If I just have egg on my face, that's going to be embarrassing. But we do have a positive Omnitel matchup thanks to our glorious Leyline bindings. This is a land and a Beanstalk. Witherbloom's not a good card in this matchup. It doesn't really do anything, but it can regrow a land and it can get us land number 3. We can also brainstorm and put the Witherbloom and the other card back. Okay, so this could be Omnitel or Stifle Knot. only one way to know for sure, and that is to fetch, which I'm going to do now. You have the Stifle. Ruined my life. Wrecked my entire career. Okay. So we're going to grab a Trop here. So if we grab Bayou, then we do have Leyline Binding, but that tells them that we have Leyline Binding, and we might want to retain that element of surprise here. I think I'm just going to get a Trop. Let's see if they pierce this. They are moving to do something. I will force here. Will I force? I think we just let this happen because we do need to be able to stop their spells. Yeah, and that may be cowardly, but we got Raksasa's Bargain to refill. We fetched. There's a decent chance we find a land on top, and we are casting this 2 turns from now. I just don't want to get got by a show and tell. Okay, and they're opting to wait, and they are definitely on Omnitell. So this means they probably have Veil. Okay, so we could Raksasa's Bargain, look at 3 cards, and one of them could be Leyline Binding. I think we do this, and we chill with the interaction up. We got lucky and drew a land, and it happened to be the exact color we needed. So I'm not going to squander this luck. Pedal. Wow. Holy cow. We are getting an extra turn, folks. It is the 90s, and there is time for Raksasa's Bargain. I will not force. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, we're going to waste them. Waste their Tomb, set them back mana-wise. Ponder in the grip. Yeah, I'm here for it. We can ponder this turn. I think I just waste first and then pass. I don't know that they have any instant speed stuff they can do. You want to float? Against my control deck? Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, let's ponder. I mean, I could make my own fetch land shuffle if I brainstorm, but I like just holding these up. Oh, wait, we can find Thoughtseize. We can find a lot of things. I think this is probably the least impactful color, so I'm going to go ahead and ponder with it. Thoughtseize would be great. They probably have Veil, but I'll force if they Veil. I'm going to shuffle this. We need action. We need more forces. Getting lands at this point would be greedy. I think I am going to go ahead and play this just because it does present a clock, and they are not able to currently deploy what they need to deploy. So I'm going to make it full size. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not quite full size. Okay. And this is a 3-turn clock. Now the onus is on them to overpower our Force of Will when they don't have a lot of mana, but they could have their own force. And we can still die for sure. We're not out of the woods. Lorien Cycling. So now this gets them up to 3 mana. If they have a force, that's pretty powerful. And if they have another pedal or something else, but they should presume that we have a force at this point. We're getting a turn. This is great. Now I can brainstorm. Well, they passed their second main. Doesn't mean we're getting a turn. Strand lets us build our own, or we don't need to build our own because it is a brainstorm shuffle. There's a chance that we could make Murktide huge here. I'm going to play this first. And then I'm going to brainstorm. Cards we are looking for. Thoughtseize. Force of Will. Beanstalk. Other Merc. Leyline Binding. Great. Double Force and Leyline Binding. This is cracked, folks. This is how you beat Omnitel. Even if they resolve it, the binding is going to take care of it, and then we have double force. So I'm not, if they attempt to do it, I'm not even going to force it. I'm going to hold my forces for after the Leyline Binding has resolved. They get an Atraxa trigger, no big deal. We still have double force, and we're still beating the heck out of them. Their Atraxa will be removed. And they only play like maybe 1 or 2 Atraxas. The main thing they're trying to do is cheat Omniscience into play. They're giving us another turn. I'm going to Surveil. Surveil. If we find a... I was going to say, if we find... if we can put a couple more things in our graveyard, we could kill them with the Merc this turn. I doubt they have... Oh, Beanstalk. Thank you. We are just destroying this top deck. This is one of the top decks in the format right now, in my opinion. And yeah, we are definitely finding the tools we need. Okay, they're fetching. I'm not sure what tech they have in green and blue that disrupts this, other than just piercing it. I will tap out for Pierce. Cunning Wish. I think we let them Cunning Wish so we get... yeah, they're going to get like Wipe Away, I think, to save themselves from death next turn. But anything else, like I never force the Wish. Echoing Truth, yeah, that's fine. Let's see if we can draw a Merc so we can just... Oh, yeah, that's a good card. Let's do that. They can Echoing Truth these back to our hand. Another Force Love it. Yeah, so it's okay. You're going to survive for a turn. Congratulations. I'm going to be casting my double cantripping Force of Wills, and I'm going to be Leyline binding whatever it is you cast. My opponent probably does not realize the extent to which they're screwed. Show and tell. I don't think this goes wrong for us if we just force. We can deplete their hand. They need a land drop to be able to Echoing Truth this back to... Okay. I would like to force that as well. And it's worth noting that even if... Oh, I should have let the Beanstalks resolve. Yeah, they freaking played me. My goodness. Yeah, I should have let that resolve. Then I get the cards, and then I have a blue card for force. As it is, I can no longer stop what they're doing. I freaking punted so hard. It may not matter. We got a double draw trigger. Land. Okay, so we're going to put in Leyline binding. Like, I was so out of the woods. Like, I was so far ahead. If they have a second Cunning Wish, they can Sublime Epiphany and stop us here. They can Echoing Truth here and just buy themselves a turn. They do have the Cunning Wish, so now they can Sublime Epiphany and stop everything. This is a total blowout because I did not draw the cards for Veil. I would have drawn a Brainstorm probably. I think that was on top of my deck. Yeah, and now they just win. I'm such a dum-dum. I'm such a dum-dum. I cannot believe that I punted so hard. I'm glad I captured it on footage so you can see, like, let your triggers resolve. There's no reason I had to force their force. I could have just forced the original spell. This also shows you just how tight this matchup is, that, like, they are overpowering just an incredible volley of interaction from us with a single... Okay. They have lots of cards. Sublime Epiphany is going to come in, stop our Leyline binding, probably draw a card, probably bounce our Merc. I cannot interact with any of this because of that Veil. All right. Yeah, they have Omniscience. Another Omniscience. Okay. What other cards do they put in their hand? Ponder. I mean, it's unlikely that they whiff from here, but I'm going to see if I can get them to whiff. I will have Force up again next turn. Stock up. Okay. That's probably game. They did use both of their... Did they use all three of their Cunning Wishes? They may not have a win con other than finding Atraxa and casting it. That does end the game, though. I was like doing victory laps thinking like, good game, you know? And this is precisely the karma. Karma coming back. Another stock up. Yeah, they just need to find one of their Emeralds. They find an Atraxa that's also a GG. Another Brainstorm. These are all fresh cards because the stock up cleared the Brainstorm. Land. Fetch. They're just shuffling the Brainstorm. That probably means they have another cantrip in hand. Okay. Just desperately digging. And again, like it's unlikely they whiff. Ponder. It's just like so many cantrips. They've cast 17 spells this turn. Brainstorm. It's just improbable that they don't find the Emrakul here. But apparently they don't play shared summons. Another Omniscience. Another Ponder. I'm surprised they played that out because they could have just brainstormed that. Impulse. Okay. Can't be countered. 21 cards. Surely you find an Emrakul now. You've shuffled. You've done it. Like basically everything. Ponder again. This is crazy digging. I'm going to skip to that. Yeah. We tried. I mean, they're almost certainly going to find cantrips and other stuff from that. Wow, 23 cards. All right, that was humiliating, absolutely humiliating. And I noticed it immediately after I did it. I was like, oh, I should have like drawn the cards first. Yeah, that was dumb. So do as I say, not as I did. And I sat there and I endured the entire cantrip chain just because, like, when you win, you don't really learn that much. You're like, all right, awesome. I'm awesome. You know, but when you lose, that gets seared into your memory. That's just evolution. Like people get down, they focus on like negative things. And like that's an evolutionary thing, I think, because like, you know, you should be focused on negative things, right? Like those are the things that are going to potentially kill you out in the wild. But it is a bummer in modern day when there's actually not that much to be bummed about. Like in the grand scheme of things, of course. I'm not going to get too far out of my lane here, but like compared to the hunter-gatherer era of life. So against Omnitel, we're taking out 4 Plows, 3 Wastelands, 2 Witherblooms. And I can bring in a Force of Vigor. I did bring it in. Yeah, Plow's totally dead here. Like, you can Plow on Atraxa, maybe. but Leyline's quite live. Yeah, and this is how we roll. We have plenty of green cards for this Force of Vigor. Not that it would have been good. It would have been good even if they veiled. They can't stop the Force of Vigor. Yeah. Wow, that was just epic savage beating. I'm so glad I captured that on footage. A lot of people are like, yeah, Be Excellent's such a great player. Like, he always like 3-2s and 4-1s the league and stuff like that. No, I'm not an excellent player. I am hoping to become an excellent player, but like, I make tiny little mistakes like that. Like, oh, I'll just force your force. And then I get punished. I don't think there's a harm in just playing this out because it's tempo positive. Next turn, we're going to have Lavinia. Lavinia is quite good. Yeah, I'm just going to play this out. And maybe they can't, play around it. All right. I'm going to play Lavinia first. What's that, blue? I don't think they have days or any sort of soft permission, but I should go ahead and play this out just in case. This is one of our best cards against them. If they force, it's a bummer, and we're like totally rudderless. This is the card you force, because after this, your forces don't work. And this shuts off Omniscience too. Yeah, they force. All right, well, that sucks. Maybe I should have played out the Hedge Maze, because now they can go for it, and I've got like just a Beanstalk. I feel like we have a very positive matchup against this deck, but like, yeah, I don't regret that keep. Because if Lavinia resolves, it's just like GG, basically. It's very hard for them to recover from that. They're going for it. All right, so we get the Beanstalk and then we die. And we're going to watch them, okay, whatever. Good games. Okay, so that was an unfortunate thing, but they win. There's no stopping them. It doesn't matter what I draw. They can just stop that trigger. Yeah, so that was a humiliating loss at the end. And again, I am including that. It's humiliating. It's out there on the internet. People can say, look at like the amateur play that this guy did, not drawing for his cards and just forcing the thing. But like, it just shows you like Legacy is in a pretty healthy place where like margins are that tight. I'm not sure if every format, every little thing you do is that important, but it is. Every little thing you do is important. Waiting a second to think, okay, I could draw these cards and see what I draw and then force instead of just getting all excited. I got all the forces. Well, it turns out I was one blue card shy of being able to force 3 times in a row. So yeah, deck felt amazing. I love it. I'm going to play another league with it. See you in the next video. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.